Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice. I freaked out when I got to hear Korn for the first time recently. The metal scatting, the overall composition, and also the music video were all incredible. And then I found out that there is a sequel. Yes! Big shout out to The Backworks, our subscriber who wrote, "Falling Away From Me is a must if you go on to explore Korn more." And Matthew Jalrig guy, whose last name I probably just butchered, who responded, "Plus Falling Away From Me is part 2 to Freak on a Leash." And big shout out to all of you 2,000 others who thumbs upped that comment. I hear you. Let's get to it. Ooh. Ooh, interesting. This is picking up right where the other video left off. I really appreciate it. I feel like I've been transported very cleanly into this, from that image, even picking up with the children running away, that animation that we left off in the previous video. And then even musically, the intro of this has that pitch bendy in the guitar, lots of little overlapping elements. Okay, I'm going to go a little bit further though for the moment, and then we'll go back to the beginning. Wow. Whoa, this feels darker than the previous one. That's interesting. I think maybe because, well, I feel like there's not as much animation, though, that definitely shifted in the other one back and forth as well. But overall, I think it's really incredible how much dissonance is in this sound. There's so many different things that are adding to dissonance in here. Yet at the same time, it feels groovy and catchy. It's kind of miraculous, actually, how they're able to bring those things together. When you have so much dissonance, eventually people just will either feel like they're watching a horror film or they'll be turned off by it usually. And this is bringing so much in, but somehow dragging us along with it. I'm going to go back to the beginning. I'll talk about some of those areas where the dissonance is showing up. Just love the weaving together. It's so excellent. Thank you. I love that they took this moment to clear our ears too. There's just like that pitch bend, and there's even a pitch bend in the percussion as well. It like makes me just slightly cringe, right? That's your first bits of dissonance that are coming in there. Oh man, I feel like that must be something that is part of Korn's signature sound. Okay, so in this slam that we've just had, where we've got more of a wall of sound, there are tons of dissonant pitches that have been chosen, and they're waffling back and forth between on these dissonant pitches. So it just makes us sit in an area that feels harmonically uncomfortable. And on top of that, I think we've got a lot of high cymbals in there too, which are creating sort of like a shh, almost like a white sound. And then you have the distortion that's on other instruments as well. There's just a lot of dissonance that's happening. Wow. Oh, I'm going to talk a little more about the dissonance in here, but there's a line that he says that really bothered me. It was, "You flirt with suicide, sometimes that's okay, to what others say." Obviously, we're going to get more into the song, but I just putting out there, if you need help, there is help out there. There is a suicide hotline. I think that this is going to come up probably more in the song, so we'll definitely put a link to that number down below. I strongly believe in mental health, and I think it's incredibly important to know that you can get out of that dark spot. And there are many, many people that are available and would love to help. So I'm going to go back a little bit. Let's look at these spots where there's that dissonance that's being added. It's so dissonant. Okay, right there. We started right away. There's like almost sound of static, but it actually hangs out in a similar area to where his vocal line is hanging out. I think he also has that fry, which is kind of a little crackly on the voice too. And then that static, I think it's probably similar to where some of his consonants are. Oh, yeah, it is such, to me, it feels like almost like a tangible sound. It feels very abrasive, essentially. And that is definitely adding the dissonance. There's also a sound that almost sounded like a mosquito, and it went from right panning to left panning. Wow, so many layers. Oh dear. This I think this is gonna be kind of painful to watch, actually. Okay. He's just, I don't think there's any excuse for hurting somebody like this. There's no excuse. Anyhow, let's talk a little bit about the vocals here. There are a few different spots where I heard really awesome doublings, and he's doing doublings in different ways that are very unconventional. So I'm going to go back and see if we can catch some of those. I think I went back too far. Oh, really interesting. I noticed so many of the band members look up when the camera sweeps to them here. I don't know what that symbolizes, but I'm really intrigued by that. If you know, please let me know in the comments and live chat what that represents. Falling away from me, falling away from me. There it is.
That's when I'm insane. I flirt with suicide. Sometimes kill the pain.
So that lower voice in there, it's almost froggy sounding, right? It sounds like he's leaning into fry. It actually reminds me a little bit of Corey Taylor's vocals. He essentially uses like vocal fry in a rap sort of way at times. But Jonathan Davis is leaning even more into that sound and goes so much in the froggy direction, it almost sounds like it's pretending to be an octave doubling below. It isn't, but it's reminiscent of that.
Day is here fading. That's when I'm insane. I flirt with suicide. Sometimes kill the pain.
Fascinating.
Always say it's gonna be better tomorrow.
That is then extra fascinating to get suddenly a higher extra vocal layer in there, especially because that timbre of the bottom one was so intriguing and really drew my attention to it. To suddenly have one that pops up high, I like the way that it's not trying to compete in the same sonic space, essentially. We have a high frequency up here that is not messing with the lower ones that we heard, and sets a little extra whipped cream on top.
I can always say it's gonna be better tomorrow.
And so much sax.
Away from me, falling away from me. Beating me down, beating me down, down into the ground, screaming so sound. Beating me down, down into the ground.
It's just, that's so hard and so heartbreaking to watch. My heart goes out to this. Wow. I think that the agony in his voice is so correct for this situation, and the dissonance now, my understanding of it has changed, because they're absolutely right to express in every single possible way how awful this feels. But I'm really glad at the same time that they have made it, had this catchiness or groove to it that keeps us there, because I think that they need to tell this story to help reduce domestic violence. Oh my gosh. Wow. I did not know going into this video today that I just wasn't emotionally prepared for this. Listen to, there's a bottom instrument that is just doing slides back and forth on two adjacent pitches. It's sliding the whole time. It also has some distortion on it. That adds to the grating at this moment as well. I think it's more present in the left as well. Oh, the emotion in ground was beautiful.
It's spinning round and round. It's lost and can't be found. It's spinning round and round. Slow it down.
Whoa. He's such a creative vocalist. Like, these sounds, they're not widely accepted as good. I'm so impressed by the way he's added these different layers. It almost feels like there's different parts of a brain talking to each other in this section. Ha! And it's so fascinating where he's chosen to take his breaths as well. He's incredibly deliberate about his breath placement and takes more breaths than would be recommended or how we would talk, anything. It's creative breathing is a way to describe it. He's using those breaths specifically to add to the sound. He's making them audible as well. So from me, he has that feeling. Maybe that's there's so many ways you could interpret it. It could be, in this situation, maybe a person running and having the need to catch their breath as they're running, or it might be catching breath between cries. There's lots of different ways we could interpret why that sound is there, but it's very, very deliberate. And still doubles there. Ah, this is cool. So much fry in the down. Like, it's so very fry-y. Needed a new word to describe it. Wow. Very, very impressive in the way he's essentially wrapping in that Valley Girl fry and bringing those together and having two layers of it that are both very different in their expression yet similar. Whoa. That was like the most elongated diphthong ever, which is really exciting because I wore this shirt, Keep Calm and Diphthong, because I was wondering if we could get a really good diphthong in this video. And here it is. I had no idea it would be this good. So diphthong is when you have one sound that combines two vowels. Ground, the ow, is two different vowels that are put together in one sound, but there's a lot of vowel to traverse there as well. So it's more like he catches all of the in-betweens on the way to, whoa. He even gets a little ah in there, which wouldn't normally be in between the vowels. Ground, ground, and it goes ground. It gives a little extra snarl as he goes through it. I'm going to go back one more time. That's amazing. Again, his brain just is so willing to break all conception of singing, of being a vocalist, the lead singer in a band. He is taking it and going really far, trying out all kinds of different sounds of expression. And I adore that. People should be expressive. Woo. That was one of the only times we've had some consonants in the song, being harmony that resolves and sounds stable. That's what it is. It's so I pray, go away. They are really, really smart in this composition. We've had tons of dissonance throughout the song, everywhere. It's just, there are more ways than I've been able to count that they're bringing dissonance in. And then right here, we have this resolution into a major chord. Right there, go away. We still have dissonance of this voice in the background, but the layers there that resolve into a major chord, it happens on the words go away, saying like this horrible situation that it would go away. I think they're twisting me so they won't go away. So I pray go away, hoping that everything is going to evaporate, which so often isn't the case in this kind of scenario. Wow. Yeah, this is really tough. But I love that there is a moment of resolution and essentially hope in the middle of it. I'm going to go back. I want to listen to more of those vocal layerings in there. There's a back vocal that is essentially writing on this kind of, it's like a fry scream. It's not really truly a fry scream, but it's a voice with just about as much distortion as you can get on it. And it sounds like it's placed fairly far back in the mix and it is tortured. That sound is completely tortured. The electricity look is cool. I feel very Stranger Things. Oh, that's another good example of a diphthong at the end. Away. And he's elongating it like crazy.
Life's falling away from me. It's falling away from me. Life's falling away from me.
Yes! I loved this part from the first video too, where he says something big and then suddenly there's this big breakdown. I'm really excited that they've echoed it here again. So excited. I paused it and I feel like I actually want it to go further. So let's go back and try that one more time.
Life's falling away from me.
So much fry in his sound. Nice. Oh man, I love seeing all the kids out there. I feel like there's some community support going on, essentially. That's great. Yeah, oh, solidarity. Okay, I need to go back just a little bit again. This drop is so cool. So with fry, there's different kinds of fry that exist in vocal terminology. And it can be very confusing sometimes when people say vocal fry because you don't know which vocal fry they're talking about. There's a vocal fry scream that often happens in metal. Judas Priest is a really great example when it's really high, often fry scream up there. And then there's like a fry register, a vocal fry register, which sometimes people call pulse register, which is just like super, super low essentially. And there's fry when you're talking, which often involves not having enough breath support going through your vocal folds as you're speaking. So if I go like this, I tend to really collapse my air. and you get kind of this croaky, froggy sound. It's not good to hang out in that sound all the time, okay? That can cause some grief vocally, but you can absolutely use it at other times. You can use it for expression. Just don't make that your go-to all the time. And he uses it like crazy throughout this in a very expressive way.
Life's falling away from me.
He even barely adds in a little pitch there, which is
Falling away
amazing.
from me. Life's falling away from me.
I love that part. I love it that it looks like somebody is there to help with escaping. It's very, very heartwarming. I also am really fascinated by the movements of the band. It seems like they've almost developed their own kind of dancing. Yes, headbanging, but there's like this primal kind of dance and movement that I see from them. I have to say, I miss the kilt. I liked the kilt. We've swapped it for, I think, athletic pants. Kilts are better. But his hair is incredible. It's just, the movement is, I'm really curious if people have ended up copying this movement or if they grabbed it from somewhere else. I think it's something that feels very original to them, but I'm not positive. Okay.
Screaming so sound, beating me down, down into the ground. Beating me down, beating me down, down into the ground. Screaming so sound, beating me down, down into the ground.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna go back and just pick out a couple of little things. I love the extra little high voice that is up there. But again, we have this amazing elongated diphthong at the end. And the way that he elongates it and it shifts the vowel, it echoes the other instrument that we start to hear shift into more distortion as well. It's like matching that instrument. Good. I hope someone helps. This is a super emotional video. I think that the distortion that Korn brings to express this scene is perfect. That is really helping us to experience the emotion of the scene and also the release when they get away. It's just really, really heartwarming to have that ending. I appreciate it hugely. Gives me some hope for humanity. I am still completely fascinated, even more fascinated by Jonathan Davis's vocals. So please keep making some Korn recommendations. I need to continue this dive into all of his vocal expression. It's incredible. By the way, if you want to see that moment when I was talking about the vocal fry in Corey Taylor's voice, there's a link to it over here. And may you fall more in love with music every day.